I'm saying? So our psyche, our phenomenon has been studied. And so since the Earth's body has been studied and researched, when we understand that our body and the Earth's body is one body, the elements within the Earth are also within our body. The melanin within the Earth is also within us. So when we understand this, and we see this agenda, we look in the book of Exodus, the first chapter, when there rose up a new Pharaoh who knew not Joseph, what the agenda was to kill the firstborn son. And you see Pharaoh making this direct order to kill. Now, if it was a girl, it could live. But if it was a son, it must die. Understand the childbearing rights, the fertility, the fear of the rain, Baal.
Birth control is nothing more or less than the facilitation of the process of weeding out the unfit, of preventing the birth of defectives or of those who will become defectives.
In 1921, Margaret Sanger founded the American Birth Control League. Its primary mission was to prevent uncontrolled procreation and establish a world program of birth control.
She states, knowledge of birth control is essentially moral. Its general, though prudent practice must lead to a higher individuality and ultimately to a cleaner race. Margaret Sanger stated that the most merciful thing that the large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it.
In 1939, Sanger wrote a letter to her eugenics colleague, Dr. Clarence Gamble, a member of the Birth Control Federation of America, in regards to setting up the Negro Project, a birth control clinic for African Americans.
She was speaking about serving what she called the Negro population, and in concluding this,
Ishtar, Easter Island, these lands here in this region, from the fall, from the seven, you understand the seven, from the door of the fallen, when they fell into this door to spring forth into this time of light, this time of Aries, as we march from Aries, from March into Aries, into April, into May, to bring forth the mother's light, the Ma'or, the mother's order, the order, Torah. Torahs, understand the twerk, the turning of this funerary procession of the sun. Understand the divine mathematics and sacred geometry and these land masses, and how to not let these narratives and these things that come into the media affect your psyche, your phenomenon, because they are intentionally done, because they know you are part of this earth's body, you are one with the earth, you feel, you hurt. Bodies and the earth bodies are one body. So the study of the earth body and our body, the algorithms of the earth, this is how we are manipulated, controlled, emotionally affected through these narratives, through these times, through these connections with the earth. We understand during this time of Easter, Ishtar, the great mother, and Hathor, the cow, the horned deities. When we look at the movement, the motion into these different lands of India as we approach this 60 degrees east, into this time coming into Taurus, you understand the time of May sons. Now, and the mother's son, the Ma'or, and the Naga serpent. The connection with the Ma'or and the Naga serpent, the number 7. We understand 7, the 7 candlesticks, the time of September, and the coming from the time when we understand these elites that play on the narratives, that play on the function of divine order of the heavens, that uses mathematical sequences to manipulate and cause emotion in the chosen people by killing your sons, your mother's light, Ma'ors, your light bearers. Understand this plot to kill the Messiah. When we look at TV, entertainment, Hollywood, what have they done? How many movies has there been a son who has the chance to better himself by leaving an environment only?
Concluding this portion of the letter, she stated that we do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members.
Sanger believed that having an African American minister on staff would ease the suspicion.
African American populations were considered some of these unfit members that should be weeded out. So in this letter, she discusses having African Americans serve other African Americans so they wouldn't be aware that they were seeking to terminate them, to exterminate them by the use of birth control and negative eugenics.
Sanger was quite fond of Dr. Ernst Ruden's work, director for the Society for Racial Hygiene. He would later go on to write Nazi Germany's sterilization laws. In 1933, she published his article, Eugenic Sterilization, an Urgent Need, which promoted programs to eliminate the unfit in order to create a super race. In the late
monuments, phalluses, many different ways that the sun's shadow plotting was tracked, traced, to understand the geometrics. We understand geocentrism, geology, geo, the earth, geb, in the sense of material essence of the earth. And this time of the springing, as the sun gets ready to, during the summer, be in this northern tropic. So these tracings of the sun, we understand the funerary processions and the beginnings of the 320-day calendar months that mark the floods, the annual floods. When we look at the Aries, we're looking at 90 degrees east to 60 degrees east. So when we see here this new year for Khmer, and we look at Angkor Wat, Cambodia, and the lands in these regions of the Austral, the Southern, Oceanus, Okana. When we look at these ancient Kush, Hekakasut lands that were dominated by these Amu Asiatics that crossed over from the Americas and came to reside in these lands, following the solar and lunar mythos, to be this medium between heaven and earth, as a shaman, middleman, to erect monuments.
Sites on this line, circling the globe. The circle was as long as the equator, but the mystery doesn't end there. If we take this circle as an equator, then its north pole will be located here, and the triangle formed by this point, Nazca and Giza, exactly matches the shape of the Great Pyramid. The distance between Nazca and Giza equals the distance between Teotihuacan and Giza. The same is true of the distance between Angkor Wat and Nazca, and between Mohenjo-Daro and Easter Island. The distance between Easter Island and Giza is 10,000 times the golden number. The distance between Angkor and Giza multiplied by the golden number equals the distance between Giza and Nazca. And the Giza-Nazca distance multiplied by the golden number equals the Nazca-Angkor distance.
Coast and these migrations of the whales and how they affected the original cultures here in these lands. We understand that the coastal known culture here in California was built upon the distribution not only of whales for oil and other different things that would benefit from the whales, but the bones and other resources that came. We understand the shellfish and being here in exchange these resources. This is what they wanted to take away from these Aboriginal people and create a system of commerce, of trade that is built upon coins and bullion in exchange of commerce, which is not how natural people traded in exchange. Time for community building and using that time to benefit the whole and not just the individual